You're watching BCTV. We're all about Branford. You're watching BCTV, Branford Government Television, a service of Branford Community Television. This program is brought to you in part through the support of the town of Branford.
Okay, we're going to get started with the Town of Branford Board of Finance regular meeting for July 31st, 2023. First on the agenda is to approve the minutes of the March 27th, 2023 and May 22nd, 2023 meetings.
I'd like to move acceptance of the 49 pages of the March 27 minutes and of the 23-page minutes of the May 22nd meeting.
I'll second that, Joe.
Motion's been made and seconded. Is there discussion? Amendments? All in favor?
Aye.
Thanks, Charlie. Citizens' comments. At this point in time, we ordinarily invite attendees to comment on the agenda items that are on the tonight's agenda. Peter?
Are we only allowed to comment on items on tonight's agenda, Mr. Chairman?
Ordinarily, that's the ticket, but I will make an exception for you if you keep it under 3 minutes.
I'll try. Just, I mean, it's hard to predict in advance. But anyway, I just wanted to comment on an item that was on last meeting's agenda, which was the sale of tax liens to a private equity group. The chairman had asked why a premium would be paid. I'm sure you've had time to reflect on that. Essentially, you're selling a financial instrument that has an 18% rate of return. If anybody's bought bonds, and I know you guys are all familiar with it, you can't get an 18% rate of return anywhere else. If we were cash poor, it might make sense to sell the tax liens. But seeing as, thanks in large part to your work, we're not, we have a healthy cash balance, there's really no need for that. And lastly is, of course, the political risk if we sell to a private equity firm like Fortress, then there may be unpleasant foreclosures that we, for political reasons, may have more empathy with people than Fortress would. And that's all I have to say. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Peter. Okay, anyone else have comments primarily on tonight's agenda items? If not, we'll move on to item number 3, is to consider and if appropriate approve a request from the tax collector to suspend $16,488.20 plus additional interest due for Anchor Reef Club at Branford, LLC. Robert, welcome.
Good evening, everyone. So in front of you, which I sent out, and I'm sorry I prepared that for our June meeting, so the numbers may be a little bit off. But again, this is regarding the Anchor Reef Club at Branford, LLC, which has filed a Chapter 11 back in 2017. Anchor Reef Beach Club was a planned community dating back to July of 2005, which created some additional development rights and special declarant rights. The land which is the subject of this evening's discussion was part of the declarant's Anchor Reef planned community. The free ownership of the land was vested in the Anchor Reef Beach Club at LLC, which is currently in a Chapter 11. So in January of 22, the fee interest was purchased by a developer, and again at that point was pursuant to the Anchor Reef approval of the bankruptcy court, because again that was in bankruptcy, it had to be approved. The purchase transaction terminated all development rights of the Anchor Reef Beach Club LLC under the declaration. This included the development rights that overlaid in lots 1A and lots 2A, which you have a map there that you can take a look at. So the interest in the Anchor Reef planned community was acquired by an amendment of the declaration creating a development right in favor of the new developer. This gave the new developer the right to withdraw the land, which would be Lot 1B from the Anchor Reef Beach Club. Upon the settlement in January of '22, Anchor Reef Beach Club of Branford LLC paid real estate taxes due from the grand list of 2019 to 2020. In December of '22, a certificate of correction, or COC, were completed for both lots 1A of Anchor Reef Beach Club and 1B of the new developer at Anchor Reef by the assessor's office. At the time of the land acquisition, Lot 1B by the developer and the declarant had ceased. So any developer rights that were with the Anchor Reef Beach Club did not exist any longer after that transaction. Again, our attorney Perito was representing the town in this matter, and he believes that the conveyance of all the declarant rights and development rights ceased, and concluded that the COC completed in favor of Anchor Reef in December of '22 should have reflected a value of 0. And that's really what this is about today. There really, after that property had been conveyed, there was no asset left at that point for us to collect on. And again, the developer is in bankruptcy. So the tax collector, in my opinion, this is a levy that's doubtful for collection. I respectfully request that the Board of Finance suspend the outstanding tax obligation of $16,488.20, plus any additional interest or fees associated with the Anchor Reef Beach Club. Questions?
Yeah, Bob, I'll open it up to the board, but, so the valuation of 0 is on a piece of property?
Yeah, so this is a little complex. So the initial project went all the way to where the brewery is. So then again, that was sold, so it was reconfigured. So currently, there's the clubhouse, there's the main condo units, and then there was another plat with two buildings that were already approved to go up, which never did, obviously, because of the bankruptcy. So when the new developer came in and approached the current developer and the bankruptcy court, they agreed to sell that one portion and created lots B1. So now you have A1, A2, and B1. A2 is really where the clubhouse is, which was included in the developer's rights as part of the condominium, but was never conveyed out to the unit owners. So it made it very, very difficult for the unit owners, although that was put into the deeds that they had the use of it, but they don't own it. The only individual who owned it was the current developer. So that didn't go with lots B1. So now we're faced with the sale. The bankruptcy court approves the sale. They say you have to bring your taxes current, which they did. So once that happened, all those developer rights were given to the new developer, leaving that old developer with nothing, no assets. Now, one could say that it's property and I can touch it and feel it, and I should be able to foreclose on it. So if we did foreclose on that, we would then have to go and ask all the folks who own units there whether they want to pay to have that clubhouse. They would eventually have to buy that from us, which I don't think is a good plan, because again, that asset doesn't exist because of the bankruptcy and the way they conveyed the property. So one of the things I'm suggesting is that we're inflating our grand list by this 16,000 and change, because that asset doesn't exist, or shouldn't exist. We should suspend it and continue to look at ways to collect this. So if I find a way that we can look at this as, again, an asset that I could foreclose on, we might work in that direction, or if we find another way to get paid.
So you're working with Jim Perito on this?
Yes, and Jim recommends, his recommendation was through the whole process here, is that he feels again that the value of this property has gone away because once the declarant rights were moved to the new developer in the declaration, the condo declaration, there was no value left for us to go after from that original developer.
I understand it conceptually, but to say that you've got a piece of property in Branford that's worth zero, I guess is just a new concept.
Well, again, I think if we suspend that, there are ways to look at that for future collection.
All right, so you're suspending the tax.
Right.
Right. Charlie?
Yeah, Bob, this is very complex. This is not a trick question, but following up on that is, if this piece of property has no value, as Jim Burrito, our attorney, indicated.
Well, you know, it does have value. He's
Yeah, but
saying
is it on the grand list?
it is currently on the grand list.
But I thought he said specifically it has no value.
Well, he's suggesting that it doesn't have any value. No one, it's really kind of in a limbo because the developer doesn't own the rights to it anymore. They've conveyed that out. They've conveyed the rights, the developer rights out. Therefore, it's hard, the concept is that that particular developer does not have control of that parcel any longer. So really, the unit owners should really be entitled to that.
Who
That-
owns the property now?
Who owns the property now is the question. So who owns the property? You would say the developer still owns the property, but he doesn't really have any development rights to that property. So the basis would be to take this off the current roll, put it into suspense, and figure out how to collect on that in the future. And it could be where, you know, we start a foreclosure on it if we feel as though that we can do that. We've got to do more research on that.
Is there a lien on the property?
I have a lien on the property, which is another problem because the owners, again, have the use of that because it's in their deeded rights, but they don't own the property. So really what has to happen, the assessor in the next valuation will probably go out and then, I'm not sure, I think there's 40 units in there. We'll then take 1/40th and add that to all the property owners, and then we'll be collecting taxes on that again.
You know, it sounds like the owners of 60 Maple Street, when they walk on the property of Mariner, they're trespassing.
Well, they do have deeded rights to use that property, but they don't own it.
Okay, that's,
Okay.
okay.
So for now, we're leaving it in the hands of the tax collector and town attorney.
Yeah.
Jamie, you have any comments on this?
Just other than it is a complex issue, I know it's pretty difficult to walk through, but, you know, our Attorney Perito has been working on this, also had the law reviewed by another attorney who's very knowledgeable in condominium law and property law as well. And it was both their opinion that effective that date of January 2022,
Correct.
basically there was the value on that. Now, the value really is being captured because, as you mentioned, those condo unit owners who have access and use of that property, right? So those amenities, the clubhouse, tennis courts, those are all add to the value of each unit, you know, based as the sale is based on what you have to offer. So moving forward, there are no tax bills being generated for this property?
That's correct.
For this property? It's this one tax year where the transfer happened after the grand list was established.
Right. And again, as I stated, this will get picked up in the reval, and it'll be, again, divided out between all the unit owners.
Got it. Thanks. Questions? Additional questions? No. Anybody? Somebody want to move it?
Second.
Motion moved by Jeff, seconded by Victor. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Thanks, Bob. Next is to consider and if appropriate, approve the following transfer for the tax collector for fiscal '23 from contingency $87,949 into tax refunds $87,949. Jim, balance for contingency?
Sure. If you approve this transfer tonight, the balance of contingency is $557,977.
$557,977. Thank you. Robert?
Yeah, so again, this transfer is for tax refunds. So we entertain a higher number of tax refunds than initially budgeted for. I keep collecting it and they keep giving it back. So that's just, you know, not what I like to see. But, you know, how does this occur? This occurs by folks that are moving in and out of town with motor vehicles, or they're going to the appeals board and finding that the valuation was too high, whether it's real estate or motor vehicle, and there's an adjustment made. So that comes back to the tax department, not the assessor's department. We make the correction and send out the checks to the folks. So again, it's try to plan for what we think it would be, but this year we had one taxpayer that we had an adjustment of about $330,000. So they had three different personal property adjustments. So just to give you an idea of what the swing could be.
What's the budget on that?
The budget was 531, and this brings us up to about 6 and change.
Thanks. Questions?
Hey, Bob, is the standard practice to pay the people back or to credit them on their next year's taxes?
Typically on real estate, we'll do that, especially if it's a Board of Assessment Appeals. If it's, so you have to understand, the leasing companies have thousands of cars that come to us, and people are buying and, you know, returning cars. So those turn into checks being issued to them, and individuals too. You know, checks of the nature of $300 and everywhere to $8.70.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, questions on this transfer?
I'll move it, Joe.
Moved by Jeff,
I'll second it.
seconded by Charlie. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Thanks, Bob. And one more with the tax collector to hear an update from the tax collector regarding collection statistics for fiscal '23.
Yeah, so what you have in front of you again, I thought we'd give you some idea of what we looked like at the end of 23's collection. This is not official, but close to the numbers where I think they'll be. So we looked at the, for the tax side, we looked at the grand rate book adjusted balance, which is that $110,867,000. And then what did we collect through that? We collected $109,961,169, which is 99.19%. And then I looked at fees that we collected along with that, which came into $110,264,686, which gave us a total collection of 99.46 when you look at that income. The other thing that I looked at was our sewer utility collection. So we started at our adjusted grand rate book at $3,001,0110. We collected $2,968,154. which gave us a collection rate of 98.91. And then again, I looked at the overall sewer plus collection of fees, which gave us a $3,118,602.24, which brought us a little bit over 100% in collecting. So again, some of these were very old as they were on the tax side, so we've collected all those fees that were accumulating from all those years. Then what I did is I took a combination of both the sewer and the taxes, which came into adjusted taxes of $113,868,139, and we collected $113,283,288, which gave us a 99.48 overall collection for both the taxes and sewer utilities. And then the last page is I just did a little comparison as to what the unit costs the town to run our unit. So I took what our costs were in the budget, so again, you have 113,283,228, and with the refunds in there, which again we can't control. It's not an operational cost for us. You come out at .0082 to run the department. If you extract the refunds out of that, you come out to 0.0029. So if you look at the comparison of what it costs to what we collect, it's pretty good. And that's it.
Nice work.
Yeah, very-
Questions on this?
Hey, Bob, what was our projected collection rate?
98.2, I believe.
90?
98.2?
Don't get any ideas, Charlie.
No, but and you collected what? 98?
99.
99 point, well, again, without the additional fees, it's 99.18.
Yeah, that's very nice.
Thank you.
Okay, no questions from the tax collector? Thanks, Bob.
Thank you.
Okay, next up is agenda items 6, 7, and 8. And agenda item number 6 is to meet with representatives from the Board of Education pursuant to Section 10-153D of the Connecticut General Statutes. Item number 7 is the executive session with the Board of Ed representatives regarding item number 6. So what I'm thinking is that we have an option here. We can, I can invite some people to leave the room while we go into executive session, which would be folks other than the board, Jim and Jamie and Lisa in the executive session. And so I'd ask the non-members to step out for a few minutes. Bob? And that is a little more convenient. I apologize to it just makes it easier for this room. So, and so thank you. And I'm not sure how long we'll be, but I don't anticipate that long. We'll come back in the session. So,
Joe, did you vote yet?
what's that?
Did you vote to go?
No, we didn't vote yet.
Oh,
So we're not in executive session yet, but what I was going to say is that,
Lisa will tell.
what's that?
Lisa's gonna tell Henry to stop.
Okay. So, again, the board is familiar with this section, as you folks are, and Jamie and Jim and I met with Don and Superintendent Chris the other day and thought that we'd be a little more formalized in our approach to the we are back to normal meeting. We have come out of, went into executive session under item number 7. We voted to go into executive session. We have voted to come out of executive session. No votes were taken during this meeting. Thanks to the Board of Ed for a good conversation. And I will entertain Number 8 is to appoint a member of the Board of Finance to be present during teachers' negotiation. I've asked Pam DeLeese to represent the Board of Finance at the negotiations if she's so willing, and it can align with her schedule. Pam?
Yes.
Okay. Harry can give you some advice if need be, and others from the board if need be, but I'm sure you'll be fine.
Thanks.
We have confidence in you, and so I think she'll be a good
Do we have to
contributor.
vote on this one?
Yes, I'll entertain a motion for that.
I'll move it.
Moved by Jeff,
Second.
seconded by Victor. Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Thanks, Pam. Next is item number 9. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion's been made,
Second.
seconded, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Thanks, folks.
Thank you.
This program was brought to you in part through the support of the Town of Branford. Watch town meetings and other videos on demand at BranfordTV.org.